if there's something you would identify as the most common misconception that you hear about people with Akhenaten, that's either the thing they get wrong or the thing you would want to reinforce from what you covered today to help how they should think about it. And it might be that maybe Akhenaten isn't the great. What would you say is that central misconception about how he's remembered that people should think about?
I think that we need to not look at him through a lens of religiosity, because that's just the way we approach him, or a lens of visuality, because his body is so shocking that it just draws our gaze. It draws all of our attention, and it's all we can talk about. So you have like all the people saying that he had this syndrome or that syndrome, rather than trying to understand what he was communicating with his body and how he was going for a shock and awe with that new marketing, right? I would like to think of Akhenaten's body as a kind of marketing rather than as a religious thing. And I think we also need to stop thinking of this time period as just one man. It's a larger social system that one person can only do so much. And I'm not saying that Akhenaten didn't go out and yell charge and say, we're going to now all become Aten worshipers and you're going to do what I say. He arguably very much did, but he had very loyal minions going along with him on this journey, and they benefited in real ways. So I like to think of it in terms of systems, that what he was trying to do was to break down one system and create another. And then third, I would say that you can't look at Akhenaten as a 17-year blip. You have to look at it over the long term. You have to look at what Amenhotep III did before. Then you've got Akhenaten's reign. And then you have to look at the 100 years after and what it was that it ended up creating. And I'm not saying Egyptologists don't do this. Jan Osman is brilliant at looking at the Longue Durée and to the Ramesside period and seeing what Akhenaten's destabilization did create. But a lot of Egyptologists are like, okay, and then, Akhenaten gone, it's done. No, it's not. You actually have a set of new men who will always be looking and saying, where's mine? We had it before. You better give it to me. Where's mine? And the king now has to give to the new men in a way that he did not before. It creates a populism in Egypt that was not there before. And yeah, think long term. Think long term, and then you can see history better. It's the same with now. We know we're in a time of extraordinary destabilization, and we blame it on a Trump, or we blame it on a Biden, or we blame it on Harris, whatever. These single people are just cogs in a much larger set of systems. And if you look at the human systems, when they become unsustainable, when they don't get a return on their investment, that's when they start to crumble. And opportunists step in and try to use those systems in different ways. We are now watching our systems crumble. There happen to be leaders at the forefront of those systems that we can say it's them, but it's not. It's just unsustainable systems. And that's the way we need to look at all of history. It's just Akhenaten's too sexy. You can't look away. It's hard. It's hard.
You lock eyes with that statue, it's hard to break eye contact. It is. I mean, it pulls you in its a tractor beam. Absolutely.
It really does. It really does. Yeah.